Okay, Melissa, this one's for you. See if you recognize what, before I get to someplace that you will know for sure, see if you recognize this. Yeah, that house was the Fattoris. And the next house was the Kellys. Right? It was the Kellys. Frank Kelly, Ann Kelly, their daughter Carol, and Francis. I never knew the people next here because I guess they didn't have any kids our age. And then I'm going to tell you, I get confused which could be your house. I don't think it's this one, but I think it's this one here, because then on this side there's Wally Wendell's, and he's got a hot rod, of course, out there. I guess a hot rod has been on the side of that house ever since around 1955, when he had I remember he had a Model A that he was making a hot rod out of then. So he's had hot rods forever. And I think that was a Novato across the way, and it's Novato Street. Oh, how unusual. But I think that one there was your house, because then the Lamastros built this place here. They lived in the back, and then they built this house up in the front. They lived in a little, I'll call it a house in the back. And we come up here to the end of Valpeck. I didn't know anybody that was here, because I once again, unless someone had, we knew the families where they had kids our age, they, I guess they were non-existent. And over here on the right, not much seems to have changed on that. That was Star Javanucci's place, right? Yeah, he was a friend of our father's, of Pratt and Sporty. And not a whole heck of a lot has changed here. And I'll go down just to keep this thing somewhat brief. I'll go down, turn down Novato, because we got, I think behind the Novato house was DeLuca. And there was also a girl. I knew where all the girls lived. That's a girl lived there. And over on the right was Vinny Papera, and his brother, his junior, we called him Junie. So that was Vinny, and I hear he's gone. And over here, which is very interesting, it's hard for me to ride one-handed like this. Right here, that's where the brook was. We called it the brook. It was a sewer. Good old little trip here. Hope you enjoy it. Putting a little addendum on this. Here's the house. This was the Moose house. Mim Moose lived here. And of course we know the tragedy of his passing on Christmas Eve. I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. And next door where those two ladies are standing, that was the Comandinis. We used to play bocce over there a lot. And over to the right, the big white house, that's where Davy Hughes lived, as I recall. And here I'm doing something I probably haven't done in 60 years or more. But I'm going to do this. I'm not irritating anybody, but it looks like a lot of garages back here. This is the alley that goes to the back. We use this as a shortcut to Costas. Remember that? Everybody, this is it. This is the alley. We come back here. You can go through this side. And Costa's store was in here. So I'm going to just go through here. There's a lot of apartments. other stuff. Nice and clean. And the gate, I don't remember the gate. It's Costas. There's a liquor store. And now I'm on First Avenue. And up here, this building on the left, I think, was always an enigma to me. I don't know what was there. There used to be a barber shop right here on the corner. There's a barber shop, and a barber shop for years. And then I think over there on that side, that gray house, Phil Gentile lived in that house, and that was a bar. There was a bar underneath. Raritan had so many little bars. A lot of people turned their living rooms into bars. And on the left, I think Judy Macco lived there. And also this little building on the left with the tannish front. I think this thing was Bill Spinelli's. That was Spinelli's grocery store. And the person who lived in here, I forgot their last name, but the man's name was Bill, and he owned the meat market that was over next to Chanchuli's.